Knowledge is the key asset of the support organization, yet most of the time we treat knowledge management like an add-on, something we might not have time to do. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you about knowledge-centered support, an industry best practice for integrating knowledge into all aspects of support. I'm David Kay, principal of DBK & Associates. We help support organizations with knowledge management, self-service, and social support. Over the past 8 years, we've had the opportunity to work with and learn from a lot of great companies. One way that knowledge has been done in the past is to have a dedicated team. Now, these may be good writers, but it's often hard for them to know the issues that customers are actually having. They're often not the technology experts, and besides, they're expensive. So this isn't a very good approach. Another approach is to ask product specialists to squeeze just a little bit of time out of their day to do knowledge work. Unfortunately, the things they find interesting are probably not the problems your customers have every day, and they're so busy the work often just takes too long to get done. Almost 20 years ago, some people in the industry had a good idea. They said, why don't we take the people who are actually doing the work, solving the problems, and as they're doing that, have them capture, structure, and reuse support information as they go. It was a good idea, but a lot of details had to be worked out. Fortunately, the members of the Consortium for Service Innovation were up to the task. Tens of companies spent tens of millions of dollars, and often several attempts, getting KCS right. And as they did, they shared what they learned, and what we've now documented as KCS 4.0. So here's what the people helping customers do. First, they listen to customers' words, and while they don't slavishly copy down exactly what the customer said, they copy down the gist of it rather than inventing what the customer probably should have said if they knew as much as the support analyst. They take those customer words and they use that to search the knowledge base to find out what we already know about this issue. If they find something helpful, they link the case to that knowledge base article. Over time, these links give us a picture of issues in the customer experience. If the information can't be easily found in the knowledge base, we'll start keeping track of what we're doing and learning in a work-in-progress knowledge base article, just in the same way that a scientist keeps track of experiments and results in a lab notebook. One difference between a lab notebook and a knowledge base article is that a knowledge base article is more structured. I like to think of it as a recipe. You wouldn't want to cook from a big text document. You want something that tells you what the ingredients are and then the series of steps to go through. Even if it's complex, it's organized. To take a more practical example, look at the case closure notes on the left. Unstructured, brain dump, pretty typical. Would you rather troubleshoot a problem with those or with a structured KCS solution on the right? And, by the way, the solution's easier to write too once you get the hang of it. Even harder than capturing knowledge is keeping it fresh and up to date. That's why with KCS, every use is a review. If you link to a knowledge base article, you're saying, yep, that's right. If it needs improvement, do it yourself or flag it for somebody else more qualified to do the job. Now we transition to the things that organizations must do to make KCS successful. And the first of these things is leaders gotta lead. Program managers, executive sponsors, line managers all need to make sure that everybody understands knowledge is a key part of the mission and the job. Part of what leaders have to do is make sure that they change the culture to one of collaboration, where I don't get power for hoarding knowledge or keeping it inside my organizational silo, but by sharing it with whoever needs it wherever they happen to be in the organization, and ideally through the knowledge base. Working with knowledge is a privilege, not a right. So organizations must put together a licensing and certification model that shows that before people can contribute, edit, publish, or approve content, they have and have maintained the skills to do so. Measurement is an area where many knowledge management initiatives struggle. By focusing on easily measured activities, for example, how many knowledge base articles have been created, it's easy to drive the wrong behaviors, compromising quality, and sabotaging desired business outcomes. Not all knowledge can be captured as you're solving customer problems. Sometimes value-added content like this multimedia piece is justified because it covers a high-impact or common customer issue. Organizations need to leave some time for this value-added content. We've been talking about people and process issues, but of course technology is important too. Pick technology that's fast and responsive, like this race car. It stays out of people's way, but is deeply integrated with the case management process, so knowledge and resolutions work together. When you do this, the payoff is tremendous. You get internal efficiency because you're not resolving issues twice. You get great data to drive product improvements, and you get findable, usable, timely information that will help make customers successful through self-service. Well, that's a lot of information for 5 minutes, but we'll take all the time you need to make you successful with knowledge-centered support. A good way to learn more is to come to one of our workshops. You can find out more at dbk.com/KCS workshop. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks.